is our anthem. You know. Here, when they mention in the constitution, that the president. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Congo to TV. If it's your first time here, please subscribe. It's going to be a great pleasure for us. Ladies and gentlemen, today we've come to discuss about a man who has moved the whole world today. The man whose name is George Floyd. Not just him, but also racial injustices, police brutality, and all the racism in the United States and all that stuff. And with that, I brought with me a guest, a brother, a friend who I found very brilliant, and his name is Eric. Eric, welcome to Congo to TV.
Thank you so much, brother. I feel welcome. I feel honored, and I feel honored to be here with you on Congo to TV. It's really a pleasure that I won't forget in a long time.
Great, it's my pleasure. It's a pleasure for me too. So before we jump into our business, how are you doing? First of all,
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. And I think today this is a really good topic for to create awareness in our community. Yep, I think this is a good topic.
Great, Eric. We saw a video that everybody saw. You've watched the video, and I'm sure everybody that's watching this has watched this video about a man who was laid on the ground and somebody had their knee on them for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. When you watch that video, what type of feeling do you get? How can you express the feeling, if it can be expressed in words, when watching that video?
On my part, the feeling I can only express, I would say it's only 20%. The rest, the late George would have done it better.
That's right.
And when I see that, just me seeing the video, I was scared. I'm not gonna lie. I was scared. I was terrified.
If it's not happened to you,
I was scared for my own life. Not only for my own life, but for every African American in the country, and for every African immigrant in this country, and not only African people, but the people of color in the whole country. It's terrifying. It's really terrifying. But we forget to mention one thing.
Okay.
The person who recorded that video was 16 years old, and she was
really?
a girl.
Wow.
She was 16 years old. So what does that say to us? It says you can do a small, everybody can make a change.
That's right.
And I think that was the big part. If that kid didn't record the video, then nobody would know about it.
Of course not.
And that was bravery. And to that child who did that, we salute you. You're the real hero.
That's right. I mean, even me watching that video, I cannot watch the whole video without stopping it. And so that for that kid to stay there and record that video, it's just she was very brave. She's a girl, you say?
No, she's a girl.
Yeah, so she's brave. Salute to that girl. Of course, she deserves all the respect, because I feel like there's those things happen. Different places in the United States, and just because there's nobody to record and present it to the people, we never knew about these types of things. So Eric, I know we're here to talk about of George Floyd, but of course also everybody. Have you ever been racially profiled before, just yourself, by anybody, like police officer or anybody?
Yes, I've been racially profiled before. I was on my way to school. I go to school in Macias Northeast. Our college has been closed, and we transferred to the main campus of Macias. So I think it was early in the morning. It was a Tuesday, and I had an early class in the morning, and I was pulled over by two cops, and I was scared. I'm not gonna lie, I was scared. They pulled me over and asked if they could check my car, and said they think I had,
out of nowhere. So
they thought I had weed in my car, smoking substance, and according to the law, I'm not allowed to let anybody check my car without any paperwork.
Yeah.
But I've been here in this country for only 2 years.
So you had to let him do it.
And I was just scared, and I had to let them check my car. And That day I missed my class.
Oh.
And I even told him that
So
I told him that I had the class, and I was like, it's okay, you can miss only one class. And that's like, I was like, really? And it was just terrifying for me.
So
For me, I was really scared. I
they
wouldn't lie.
took much of your time that morning then.
Yes, there was like 1 hour and a half.
Oh.
Checking my car everywhere.
Really?
Everywhere. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I cannot really understand. I mean, I've never faced something like that, but when you hear about that, you just think that might happen to you any day. So it just brings fear to all of us, other day. So, Eric, this issue, the George Floyd situation, has just moved the whole world, has awakened everybody in the world. Do you think? Should we hope that this is the turn point? About racism and all these racial injustices in the United States. Do you think it's gonna bring a change? Do you think this is the turn point about all these things that happen here?
I would say it's a turn point, but I wouldn't say it's a turn point all the way. I would say from now on there's gonna be a change.
It's a step forward to.
It's a step forward. That's what I would say. It's a step forward, because these things like some of the people who are privileged by this don't want to speak out because they're privileged. They have benefits through this. So that's why most of the people are silent. You know what I'm saying? But this has really brought people together. I've seen white people, like people of color, marching together.
Everybody.
And it just shows like people are coming together, and it's really a good sign. And if this continues to progress, maybe America's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Nice. I think we need is love, but we cannot force people to love. So, but people can be taught how to love, like Nelson Mandela said. Now, if somebody, of course, since we cannot force people to love, when somebody commits those types of crime, like what happened to George and what has been happening to other people, don't you think the fact that they don't get punished for their deeds makes them do it again, or makes other people keep doing the same acts?
I think the government should do something about it, because logically, using our common sense, it's not right.
Of course, not right.
It's not right. It's not right. Ladies and gentlemen, George Floyd was 46 years old when he died, when he passed away. George Floyd had a wife and he had kids.
Of course.
Before he died, his mom passed away 2 years ago. But on his last words, he said, "I can't breathe." And he said, "Mama, please." Like when I heard that, I was sad. I almost cried. Simply because, ladies and gentlemen, let's try to remember, like, when you're young, when you're 5 years old, and somebody does something wrong to you, who do you run to?
Mom, first
You
thing.
run to mom. When somebody does something in your house, something wrong, who do you go to report to?
Mom.
To mom. And seeing a 46 years old cry out and say, "Mom," he didn't cry out to his wife, to his kids, to his friends. He cried out to his mama.
So it was in that moment that he really needed assistance, of course.
Like, the only person he could think of that time, it was his mom. Like, that's really sad. A 46 years old to cry out his mama for help, that is really sad. And I feel like people don't really understand how this affects people of color psychologically.
Yeah.
Like, I personally, if I'm driving and that's a car pass by me, like, I look behind to see if he's gonna make a turn and follow me. That's just how I am, because it happens a lot of time for no reason, and it's just my mindset.
Yeah.
Like, psychologically, it's my mindset. I just know, like, is he gonna turn around? You know what I'm saying? So it's really sad. Like, what is happening in the country is really sad, and everybody needs to like try and do something about it.
Okay, I've heard they've said, the reports have been coming out about the autopsy that George Floyd was had COVID-19. George Floyd has breathing issues, and does that really matter? I mean, if nobody put a knee on his neck that day, would he have died that day?
It's funny when they say he had breathing issues. Of course he had breathing issues. He had your knee on his neck for 8 minutes. What do you expect? You expect him not to have breathing issues? He was saying he wasn't breathing.
Of course.
Of course he has breathing issues because he wasn't breathing. What did they mean when they say he had breathing issues?
I mean, I feel like even if I'm on a, if they're using a breathing machine to help me breathe, if I'm laying on the bed and I'm very sick and I cannot breathe and they're using a breathing machine to help me breathe, if somebody comes and unplug all those tubes and I die, is it not the person that has killed me still?
And I don't know why. I feel like the government, the United States government, has given so much power to the police, and they've been misusing it for a long time. And I don't know why they keep getting away with it. This is too much. This is like too much. It's exploding. And to people who think the riots was too much, there was violence, Colin Kaepernick tried to do a silent protest, the football player, and everybody was ignoring him. And now people are saying, "Oh, this is so violent." Hey, we gave you this. You guys received a silent treatment, and you didn't want to. So I guess the violence works.
So do you think people have, some people have gone violent, started protesting violently because the peaceful one did not work?
Yes, I think so, and simply because sometimes violence is the answer, and that's the ugly truth.
Has it ever brought, has it ever given, a solution even in history?
As me, as an African child, I grew up, my mom, our parents, beating us up once in a while. Because if they say do this and you don't do it, the only way for us to grow up respectful was a punishment. You know what I'm saying? So I think the ugly truth is that sometimes violence is the answer. Think about this. If a police is arresting you and you're resisting, what do? They use violence, right? So if the people have been protesting to the police about the police brutality and nothing has been changed, what do? Violence. Because that's the ugly truth. Violence sometimes is the answer. And whether we like it or not, I think it's working right now.
Okay, I see though, but I can understand if you say maybe because people are angry now that they've been protesting for so long and they haven't been given the solution and what they're looking for. But I don't see the connection between looting somebody's store and protesting so that you can grab people's attention so that a solution can be given. When you loot a private store, how does that have to do with what people are fighting for?
I personally, I think the government should pay for every store that was looted.
Why did they send people to do it?
They did indirectly. They neglected to correct their police officers, and their police officers, them being unjust to people, led to protesting. And there's always consequence to everything. There's always a consequence. If the police should have worked on this, nobody's gonna be looted. So do you think these people do you think the people who have been looted are not gonna place claims on the government?
No.
I think they are gonna do that. If the government can pay you because coronavirus has happened and nobody's working, how about being looted now? Because they pay insurance, all that.
Well, the insurance will have to pay. But what happens if you don't have insurance? Then it's a big loss.
Everybody who has a business has an insurance in the US. Even people who have even cars have insurance.
But does it mean if you have insurance, then it's okay if somebody breaks your stuff?
It's not okay for anybody to break your stuff.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, we need to look at how did this thing evolve.
Or is it just some people taking advantage of the protest and they don't come to protest, and some are just using that opportunity to just loot stores?
Yeah, I think that's just how it is, and I think just like I said, I think everything has a consequence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The government is right now having consequences right now.
Okay, here's the thing though. I've seen everybody is condemning violence, and the president said he's gonna send the army. I think it was the army or the National Guard to go and deal with these thugs. That's the word he used. Now, don't you think that they are attacking the product of the problem they are attacking the consequences instead of attacking the source itself, the problem itself, the problem which is racism and all these racial injustices. Don't you think they should attack that to avoid all these, consequences?
And I feel like, just add on to that, I feel like up to now the president is still running away from the issue. The president is still running away from the issue and is still avoiding the main point here. Logically, the president is on. It's like the country is like a pyramid, and the president is on top. What does that mean? The president himself is a representative of this country. What is his job? To unify people.
Make sure everything's working.
And he hasn't
in
come
order.
out and said whatever the cops did was wrong. Nope.
Well, he condemned it. I think he tweeted and condemned it, but
that was after his deleted tweets of not saying anything that was like I feel like as the president he should have come in the first place and said whatever what happened was wrong and as people should be punished and didn't say that.
well, I see what you're saying, but and I'm not sure exactly what time the president tweeted and so, but he's saying though people have by looting and doing the violent protests, people are even tarnishing the memory of George Floyd, and even Floyd's brother was telling people to not protest peacefully, and instead of doing it violently, they should choose who to vote and who not to vote, so that those people can come and bring a solution. Do you think that's what the solution is?
I think this yes, the looting happened, but what's the main point here? Is it the looting?
Of course.
Or it's social injustice that has been happening forever.
Yeah, but
Looting happened only how many days ago? 2 days ago, 3 days ago. And do you think it's gonna happen again? No. But social injustice is still happening up to now. So that just shows you how much they're still trying to run away from the point.
now everybody else, I mean, the whole world is protesting. The whole world is protesting. Everybody here in their different countries here, they are protesting, and supporting the black people in the Black Lives Matter movement.
And it's a shame. It's a shame to see that America as a country is doing a lot of good things in the world. Like America, whether we like it or not, America is the greatest country right now on earth. And America has helped a lot of nations fight war, fight poverty,
Financially and stuff.
all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you can't go into your neighbor's yard and try to corrupt your neighbor's yard if you can't even fix your own yard. You know what I'm saying? And then you can't go out to help people if you yourself have your own issues. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying America is a great country, which everybody knows, but there's only one thing. That's the thing that's tarnishing maybe the reputation of the country.
And they should work on that first before they focus on sending army to Iraq and Iran and all those countries. They should focus on that first, because that's the most important thing.
And don't you think people have went with the protests that way, because the first thing that was done to the police officers was only getting fired. They didn't arrest them right away or anything. Don't you think that's what got people to go that hard with the protests?
That just shows you how even the governor of Minnesota was reluctant and okay with it.
He said if somebody say I cannot breathe, that means they can breathe.
They're still breathing. Like, who says that? If your child is hungry, what do? You give them food, right?
They say I'm hungry.
If someone's not breathing, what do? You make sure they breathe. But he was like, if he says he's not breathing, which means he's breathing. Like,
I mean, if somebody is
that just shows the rage, and it's just a big sentence to use as a governor of a state. It's shaming,
Yeah, he probably should have done, but I've seen mayors of different places supporting this. In Washington, there's a mayor that have had one of the streets they've painted on the ground Black Lives Matter in big letters, and they've named one street Black Lives Matter just to to have that visible, and that at least when something is visible like that, at least it's reminding people. And now racism itself, don't you think it's something that some parents put in the kids' heads? You know, like, you see, like Nelson Mandela says, you know, people learn how to hate, and if people can learn how to hurt, they can be taught how to love, because love comes more naturally to human being than the opposite. So don't you think we should start teaching our kids better than we have been doing?
Yes, yes. And I think the big part about it should be in schools, because most of these kids spend a lot of time in school than even at home.
So, you know, regardless of, you know, whether the parents are not doing a good job, we should probably reinforce, you know, that
In schools, because I feel like even in schools, a lot of black history is not taught in school. You know what I'm saying? People only know about Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, like a few people, and that is really, really wrong. There's black history that is hidden, and I feel like the
like
system,
the entire history one.
the system is insecure about how black people are great. The system itself is very, very insecure about it. You know what I'm saying?
But
It's very insecure.
It has to be brought out, since it's just the truth, isn't it?
Black people have been fighting, fought in World War One and World War Two, and they were promised that when they come back home, they was gonna have freedom.
No, they were-
But when they came back home after World War One, they were still enslaved again. When they came back home after World War Two, they were still treated as minorities. After fighting for this country, and up to now, after like how many years have passed, and still there's racial injustice. Martin Luther King had a peaceful protest. What happened?
I mean, he brought some
Yes,
some
one
solutions.
step, two steps. You know what I'm saying? So before Martin Luther King, who came first? There was Malcolm X. He was a little bit violent. So in my point of view, I feel like Malcolm X had a big change, because when he came in, people was like, "Oh, this guy don't play around." So when Martin Luther King came, it was like, "Oh, this guy is a peaceful one." So if you don't accept the peaceful one, you gonna get somebody like Malcolm X, and that made a big change. So same thing with the football player Colin Kaepernick. He came in peaceful. They were like, no.
So don't you think that it's now that people now kind of understand, you know, Colin Kaepernick's protest, how important it was, and you know how necessary it was that it was peaceful.
Yes, I think people have come to realization that Colin Kaepernick's act was act of bravery and an act of awareness in the community.
Probably should have listened to him, though.
Yes, I think if they did, there would have been a big change. And most people were complaining that Colin Kaepernick is disrespecting the flag. Colin Kaepernick is wanting attention. That's why people protest.
To grab attention.
They can grab attention, and then their points or their information can be laid out with people paying attention.
Yeah, so
So
the information can be taken.
yes, and can be worked upon. So
So they can get a solution.
you know what I'm saying? And for every person in the army who is fighting for freedom, for equality, I think they understand why Colin Kaepernick was kneeling.
Okay. Now we're gonna move on, so that because we're running out of time. Now, at first he was the one police officer that was arrested and charged with some.
It started with third degree murder, and then they moved to second degree murder.
And now also those other three officers have been charged with, you know, some charges. What's your reaction to that?
I think them being charged is just simply because they are accomplices.
Yeah, they were watching.
They are watching, and their job is to
Help.
Their job is to
Help rescue.
is to protect and serve the community. So how do you protect the community by just there watching and not doing nothing?
When so seeing
You know,
somebody's.
so them being there and standing there and just watching like it's like a Netflix TV show. It just shows how much doesn't doing their job. Their job is to protect and serve. Who were they serving at that moment? So if you can serve and you can protect the nation and the people, don't put on that badge. Go sit home and watch TV, eat some popcorns, watch YouTube videos.
Now it's surprising that everywhere in the world is telling America to stop mistreating its people. China have spoken. Different countries, apart from people protesting, even some government officials have spoken about this from different countries, ministers and even other presidents. So some people see it as a potential turning point, from these issues. Some people see that there will become a solution. Some people see that this is a loss, but some people think it can be a turning point from these issues. Do you think this can be a turning point from these issues? Do you think from now onwards, people, even police officers, will start acting differently, especially that not just this I work the whole world, but even the people that did the wrong deeds are being punished.
I think the police in general is aware that the people are fed up. The people are tired of being mistreated, and they know if anything happens again, they will face violence from the people that they're supposed to serve and protect. So I think this has woken up the police force, and I think there will be some big change in the police force.
Okay, this question is gonna end our interaction, and if I think we're gonna might have to come back and do more discussions.
Yes.
What do you think is the real issue? What do you think is the real cause to all these racial injustices and racism? And what do you think should be a solution? Should it be putting better people in the institutions? Should it be teaching people in schools, or should it be parents start teaching their kids to treat people equally?
I think the biggest issue right now in the country, and which has been the biggest issue for over years, is the racial injustice topic being ignored.
Okay.
As simple as that, this has been ignored for a long time
By the leaders?
Yes, and the only thing that can help the community and the country at large to move past that is to focus on that. If they take it as serious as possible, I think it's going to be okay. But if they keep on ignoring it, it's going to keep on going.
So what's the solution for you? The leaders to consider this and start taking actions?
Yes, simple as that.
So one of the actions, education?
Educating people about it. Creating awareness about racial injustice in the country. Because I don't think there's any people don't really know. Some, I don't want to say white people because I don't want to mention the color and stuff, but I feel like most white peoples don't know a black man's struggle. Period. They don't know what we go through psychologically. Because I'm scared. I'm scared I'm scared to even have kids in this country. Because I know my kids will have to go to school and on.
Yeah.
My kids will have to grow up. My kids will have to drive, and it's just hard. It's just hard for me to know that I have to teach my kids to not we all have rights.
Yeah.
And as a human being, and as anybody in America, you have a right to ask a cop, "Why are you pulling me over?"
Yeah.
And that right is only used by white people. Black people don't get to use that right. But as soon as you open up your mouth, you're resisting. Handcuffed. Jail for a day at least. Or for a night. And then you come back in the morning there was a mistake. But you was in jail for the night. That's not going to change. And some people even write, some cops, when they put you in the custody, they write a false statement. And that has to be on your background check for the rest of your life. Something that you didn't do. And that's actually crazy.
Yeah, I've heard you, Eric. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much again for welcoming me on this channel, and this is a big thing. This is I appreciate this moment to just come here and share with you this moment, and I think just me sitting with you, I think I've also learned a lot from you, which is a pleasure.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to have you here, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching. My only words to you is to have love. We might not get love from everybody, but let's show love. And by showing love, I don't say you should not protest. I don't say you should not, say that or address the things that are wrong. You can do them with love and just say things and do things that you think are constructive and things that's gonna bring a good solution, not just or bring more issues. So those are my words to you. I think we're gonna, since this issue is big and this issue has always been there and is still continuing, I think we're gonna have to come back and discuss these issues again.
And just add one thing to this. I feel like before you do something to anybody, do you think it will be okay for them to do the same thing to you? Just think about it.
Great, thank you. So ladies and gentlemen, that marks or brings us to the end of this interaction. May God be with us, may God protect us, and remember, we are still together. Differences are entre vino here when they mention in the constitution that the president I can make it.